Okay, we're going to talk about employment tax again. We talked about trust fund recovery. And it seems like every time I do any kind of presentation, this subject is one that everybody wants to talk about. So I'm going to spend about 20 minutes. We're going to cover this topic. This is a high priority item with IRS, delinquent payroll taxes. It's a mounting problem. The balance of unpaid payroll taxes has continued to go up every year for the last 5 years. It's not going down. Probably the best indicator that the economy is not doing well when small business is using their payroll tax money for operating capital. That tells you they're in trouble. They tapped out their bank availability. They've used their credit cards. And now they're down to using the government's money. So I'm not convinced, as some of our politicians are, that the economy is turning around until I see the payroll tax liability numbers begin to drop off. I don't think you can rely on that. So we got a delinquent payroll tax situation, either non-payment, which is the way it typically starts. You file a quarterly return, you haven't made your tax deposits, so you send in the quarterly return and you start getting notices. Then the client gets real smart and says, well, if I don't file a return, they won't know that I haven't paid my payroll taxes. So that's the next step in the process. Now I'll tell you that IRS, a number of years ago, set up a procedure which is called a federal tax deposit alert system. And every office of IRS, in their wake-up call on their computers, gets a notice saying these taxpayers in your area have either stopped making tax deposits or they have reduced the amount of their tax deposits substantially. And that is a communication that shows up every morning in every office. The problem is they don't do anything with it because they don't have any information. And as I said earlier, the problem is the lack of resources to do it. And then secondly, that creates a bigger problem for you and me and for the client, because as this stuff gets older, it's not like fine wine, it doesn't get any better. The problem gets worse and worse. The liability continues to grow, and so we got a much bigger problem. So hence, as I said earlier, it's a couple of years before they normally catch it. Then they come out, and it's a big problem. So, the first thing I want to alert you to is